welcome to the show. We start this week's FailRace episode with wobbly a guide on Forza Motorsport. This is why we don't have any multiplayer videos from a replay perspective, because this is all they do. Just bounce around and the cars float about, and sometimes they go through the floor and sometimes they go up and down, and well, one's just pinged up to space and they'll come back down again. Yeah, they don't work. It is quite funny, but they don't work. Funked Up is next, also on Forza Motorsport. Now they are doing a practice session at Laguna. You know, everything going as you would expect when a car coming out of the pits that is supposed to be in ghost mode, it isn't. Yeah, that's a suspiciously solid ghost car going on right there. I mean, it is only practice at the end of the day. However, that is somewhat unfortunate. Gordon Fan up next on Forza Motorsport is starting, again, I think this is starting a practice session as well. Not in the best way possible, though. Yeah. The AI has lost control of the car before the car was upside down before the player had even taken control of it. Can't say I've seen that one before. I'm going to guess this was a little bit of a mad build in terms of a car, but I've not actually seen the AI lose control of it just before giving the player. They then couldn't quite wobble it back onto its wheels and then get punted by something else, but I mean, the damage was sort of done at that point. That's impressive. Rambo Man is up next, also on Forza Motorsport. They are racing around the Homestead Miami circuit. I quite like this road course, if you like, decent enough circuit. When they get things a little bit wrong, it is easy to get things wrong through here. I say get things wrong. They get it on the curb and it sort of grabs the car and slides it before being tipped into the grass, into the tyre bundle, over, and it's very broken. Yeah, that's a bit of a grabby curb to have been doing that one. Up next, we're on to GTA 5 with Nadro. They are driving around. There's a bunch of them racing around with vehicles when a big and quite laggy wreck goes on, managing to launch. Well, it launches a jackal underneath the player car that sends it over the barrier. I mean, they can actually get going without losing too much time, all things considered. But yeah, that's not really what you want to come around a corner to find. F50 V12 is up next on GTA 5. Now, admittedly, this one, they are trying to launch a little Fiat. They're using the Batmobile to launch a little Fiat to try and get it onto one of the yachts. Now, I say, is this set up? Yes. Is this an incredibly, ridiculously difficult task to go and do? Absolutely. With a little Fiat falling and twisting and flying through the air, and it is a hell of a good aimed shot, although it doesn't quite stick the landing. It bounces off the top and is in the water. So that's the end of the clip, but that's a hell of an aimed shot. Well done. Well done indeed. The Forest Archer is up next on Wreckfest. They are driving around Hellride, a notoriously dangerous, notoriously destructive circuit, especially if you get things a little bit wrong up here. Not only does the car land a roll, it then lands a huge two-wheel moment. Again, that's where the clip gets cut. That's so much luck in one go at Hellride. That is all of your Hellride luck gone immediately. Luke Games up next on Wreckfest. They are playing around in this little testing area. Get whacked by one of the giant moving walls, for want of a better word. The second one, though, just grabs the car and carries it. I'm not even quite sure how this one's worked. I don't know how it's ended up in this predicament, but yeah, it's actually not really taking too much damage either, but it's sort of just stuck on the wall and is going to get pulled around. Gunner is up next on Grid Autosport with an absolutely huge crash. Now, the AIs on this game are, I say, relatively well known for having these quite big, spectacular accidents. They have quite these scripted crashes sometimes, but this is the most ridiculous one I've ever seen. 4 of them have gone off at the same point. I don't know how many of them, well, I say we're supposed to have both Ravenwest cars off as well, by the looks of it, possibly. Then they're rolling over each other at this point. Yeah, I mean, I've seen quite a few big crashes on Grid Autosport and various grid games. That is possibly the most spectacular. To have 4 cars go off at the same place that is a big shunt. Shep is up next on Assetto Corsa. We have some very classic race cars at Spa. When the Elan gets a bit of a bump that it did not want, heading through a rouge, I presume this is the player car. Actually, can't be riding on board with gets through all of this. The poor Elan is around, almost saves it, then doesn't, then spins back across the track and kind of causes a lot lot of chaos. It's not the best rejoin in the world here, particularly managing to bump into a bunch of cars and cause a traffic jam. It's not the greatest, and then the MG decides to reverse. Two MGs decide to reverse for some reason. The inland spins itself around and just about recovers. I mean, when you're back here, there's not much you can do about the crash. Everyone's fairly sensible in terms of, sort of slowing to avoid it. It's just the attempting rejoin from the Lotus isn't great, and then the MG gets a bit wedged in all of this. It could have gone worse, to be fair. It could have gone a lot worse. You often see even bigger crashes up there. But, they just about sort themselves out eventually, even if it was a bit of a wacky way to go about it. And finally, we have Ben on iRacing with the little Formula Ford things. A car up ahead gets a bit too much oversteer and absolutely annihilates this poor purple car. Goes for a really, really big tumble. Nothing this car could have done, really, about this. There's a car on the outside going sideways, and then this one here is out of shape, and you're not going to know until the last second it's about to go and do that. And over we go into the barriers. And yeah, that is just a race over at that point. And these things, I haven't driven these for a while. Or these skip barber cars, can't remember. They are quite oversteery. It's easy to do this sort of thing. There's a bit of an overcorrection there. And it's just such bad luck. And off goes that purple car across the barrier. Yep, that's a big shunt at Alton Park, that is for sure. But there we go. That is going to be it for this episode. As ever, if you have clips you'd like to submit to this series, as you can via a Google form, and we do indeed need many more clips. We do indeed need more clips to keep this series going. All the rules of how it works can be found on the form. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.